Nation or bind ourselves to the United States of America is before us. On this, the anniversary of American independence, 1845, our Texan Congress is debating whether to accept annexation offered by President James K. Polk or to continue on as our own country. However, as we are a democratic people, we will today put this question to you. These are the times that try our souls. Our security is at risk. As we endure depredations from our enemies, our government coffers lie barren and our country teeters on the brink of financial ruin. Meanwhile, the British seek to reestablish their empire here in Texas and purchase our hard-won liberties and allegiances. The very thought makes every son and daughter of liberty shudder. We must ask ourselves if we cannot surmount the challenges without the might of the U.S. Army and the promises of liberty that annexation would bring. And yet, have we not shown ourselves equal to the tasks of independence? Has not the blood of our Texan patriots and merited the best of our efforts? We must also consider the fact that we have been our own country for the last 10 years. We withstood the challenges with bravery and honor on our own terms. Should we accept annexation, might not we be deprived of our freedom to govern ourselves? Could the bands of friendship with the United States prove to be a yoke of bondage with another nation? These are the hard questions you must answer today. Before you are two of our most prominent citizens who will debate the merits of joining the United States or remaining an independent nation. At the completion of their debate, it will fall to you, my fellow citizens, to vote on the outcome and the future destiny of this republic. Gentlemen, you may proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen, our nation is beset by enemies. Our defenses are incapable of dealing with this threat. Our militia, although brave, is inadequate, and so our enemies sense our weaknesses. Mexico still covets our land, and they send raiding parties to us, despite their internal conflict and strife. Twice now, they have sent armies that have seized the city of San Antonio and looted it without reprisal. And what of the Comanche? Whole stretches of our northern territory are ours in name alone. So-called Comancheria rules there, and diplomacy is inadequate. For to make a truce with one of the tribes leaves the other 34 to do as they will, raiding and kidnapping our citizens. There are many among you who will remember the Great Raid of 1840, when 1,000 Comanche riders tore down into our territory, murdering and plundering their way to the coast. Think of the citizens of Victoria, who were left helpless as their town was destroyed about them. And think of Linville. What of Linville? Burned that day off the map, and without reprisal. We must, for the sake of our safety, turn to something greater. We must turn to the eagle of America. Let its talons tear at the hearts of our enemies. Let its armies and its navy bring us the security we cannot afford. And doing so, let us bring peace and an era of prosperity to all of us.
How Mr. Harper betrays his disordered values immediately. Do you not value your liberties, sir? Would you sell them for mere security? Do we not value the labor put into this republic? 10 years independent. Would we sell all that for a brief promise of security from the United States at the cost of our militias, of our federalism? Sir, you doubt the abilities of our people. Our people are not just scrambling bands of citizens. No. They may cobble their shoes, they may practice medicine, but the blood of the men who fought at Lexington and Concord flows through their veins. They are warriors, and they have thrice thrown off Mexican oppression, and they have pushed back the Comanche. You presume that Mexico or the Comanche will be able to unite, a feat which they have never done in the history of this world. Sir, I do not believe that you could stand here and throw away our independence so recklessly and believe that the United States would be able to keep our security. No, and even if they were able to, our liberty is not worth such little security, such little promise from the United States, when joining the United States would thrust us into war with Mexico. No, peace and security and liberty can all be found in the independent Republic of Texas. The Texas Republic should remain free from the United States, extending bonds of friendship, but not joining itself to that Constitution. No, do not sell your liberties for brief security. My countrymen, do not let the cries of liberty or death be in vain.
Keep the Republic! Republic!
Mr. Moore speaks of buying and of selling. Let us not hide beneath the unmitigatable truth that our nation is impoverished. Grit and audacity and sacrifice may have won us our independence, but it does not put silver in our coffers. And we are without coin, and we are without credit. Our nation's debt is in excess of $10 million, and it grows daily. And every attempt to defend ourselves worsens the situation, for when our militia are called forth, they must leave their farms and lands. The industries go unworked, the fields left untilled, and so, win or lose, we become weaker and our economy stutters and dies.
Hear, hear.
And what of our one trade port, Galveston? It is a rambunctious heap of shacks, undefended. We cannot afford cannon or fortification, and we will be called to defend it. For even now, that tyrant, Santa Anna, is building 2 warships with which to sail north and choke the very lifeblood from our economy. But there is a way forward. With annexation, we would bring ourselves into the fold of American prosperity. We would bring in a new age with 27 trade partners at our doorsteps, no more relying on the tumultuous Europeans so prone to infighting. And with annexation comes modernity, a bright new age of progress. Already there are thousands of miles of rail tracks stretching across North America, and where they lie, wealth will follow. We must be part of that. We must join so that we may become something better, to create an era of prosperity for us and for our children.
Well said.
Yeah.
Woo!
Mr. Harper, you lament our poverty, but would you have us shackle ourselves to the United States when just a few years ago, men had to leave that country over the issue of nullification? Do you not remember, sir, when federal law taxed trade in the southern states to a degree that it forced South Carolina to declare federal law null and void until that tyrant, Andrew Jackson, had to enforce his will on those people, and they fled to our republic, sir. They fled to our republic because here liberty stands, and it will stand as long as we remain an independent republic. Do not shackle ourselves to a United States who can only promise a brief amount of security and will tax us and tax our trade and cut us off from all parts of the world. No, sir. No, sir. We may not have silver, but we are rich in land and resources. Sir, we have people flocking across our borders every day, every year. Our population grows. People seek out Texas for land because land is where our wealth is, and that wealth will last. Sir, land continues to skyrocket in prices, and that land will ensure our security and our financial ability to survive. Now, you speak so much of our financial woes, and yet you believe the United States will solve them, but right now, Britain offers trade agreements. Britain, sir, will see our republic through without joining us, without tying us to its empire. Sir, it already recognizes our independence, and that independence should remain throughout throughout the duration of this world, sir. Sir, I respect a certain amount of humility in people, but your reliance on the United States, your willingness to lie in the ground like a snake and crawl on your belly to the seat of abject power, in abject surrender, well, sir, I just have no stomach for that. No stomach at all. This will remain an independent republic. Stand with me, my countrymen.
You speak of Britain. It is no secret that our esteemed Mr. Houston openly courts a relationship with the British. He is not blind. He can see the ruinous state of our finances. He can see our enemies gathered about us like vultures. And so he clutches for solutions, like a drowning man would clutch for a rope. He says it will bring us security and prosperity, an open market for Texan goods, and an end to the hostilities with Mexico. He would sell us out, seduced by honeyed words and the promise of 30 pieces of silver. What folly. He would have us become a mere dominion of the British Empire. I know my countrymen. I know what they are capable of. I know that their lust for power and wealth and land knows no limits. In my lifetime, they have consumed the continents of Australia and India and cut swaths of red across the African map. They will not stop at our little Texas. Are we to squander the sacrifice of vacant borders and become a mere jewel in the crown of Queen Victoria? I say, let us not fall into this fate. Let us instead turn to our forefathers. Let us turn to those who came to us in our time of crisis. Let us come to those who stood and fought and died beside us in our time of crisis. Let us turn to America, who we are bound to by blood and by ideology and by grace. Let us become one people, indivisible, one dream of a continental democracy. We can squander the choice we have here, but we will be forced to kneel and subjugate ourselves before a foreign power. Or we can seize this opportunity and become something greater than we already are.
Subjugated to a foreign power. Sir, Britain is our old ally. They recognize us as an independent nation, an independent republic, a courtesy not afforded to any of India, any of Australia, any of those large swaths of the African continent. No, sir, Britain never recognized those as independent nations, but Britain has acknowledged our independency. Britain will not turn back on that now, no. And why would we join ourselves to the United States when once again you betray yourself, sir? You have no respect for the federalism we fought for. Did all those men die in vain during the rebellion in 35 and 36? Did the men at the Alamo sacrifice their lives needlessly for a vague promise of some national democracy? No, sir. No, centralism promises national democracy, but we are a federal republic. We value local self-rule. We do not wish to be indivisible in some United States of America. No, sir, we want the promise of local self-government extended to us and to our children and to posterity from now until the end of time. Sir, would you have us join under the vague promises of being some sort of territory in the United States, acting as a mere buffer towards Mexican northern aggressions? No. No. The United States has not offered us any sort of concrete guarantee of statehood. It has not offered us any sort of deal which would be respectable by the people of an equal nation. No, the United States does not treat us as an equal nation. It treats us as an inferior, begging to join its republic. No, sir, we are not. We are an independent nation, and we will not even entertain the idea of annexation until the United States, at the very least, treats us as an equal republic. Sir, I see a glorious future for the people of Texas. This republic will shine from here to eternity. This Lone Star of the West will stay where it is. Do not join itself to that banner when that banner promises no future security.
Rock for the Republic! Huzzah! Remember the Battle of the Alamo!
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens, we find ourselves in dire circumstance. We descend into a down spiral of dismay and ruination. Our enemies raid our lands incessantly. Therefore, none will settle here. For what is the value of cheap land when you risk the forfeiture of your life and the virtue of your daughters and wives? And thus, without investment, we are bankrupt. And so we cannot fund our armies. And our enemies see our weakness and they gather about us as a storm. Mark my words. That storm will break upon us and we will face an awakened giant against which we have no defense. Let it not be misunderstood. Independence is death for this nation of ours. We must form alliance. And we have a choice. We can squander our independence that was fought so hard for with the blood of martyrs, and we can kneel before a foreign crown. Or instead, we can turn to our brothers and our sisters in the Union. We can turn to them under a flag of democracy and freedom and liberty and become something truly great. To me, there is no choice. God save America. God bless Texas. Vote for annexation.
Mr. Harper believes Texians, believes you people too weak and feeble to defend for yourselves. Mr. Harper does not see the great and noble people I see before me. He looks out into the future, and it is a grim prognosis. He sees ruination in our future. But where he sees ruin, I see hope. I see a country conceived in liberty, a republic expanding from Cuba to Canada, all the way out to the Pacific. This republic will not stay the way it is, just as the United States did not stay the way it was when it broke in independence. No, this republic has great promise. Keep your liberties. Do not let the cries of liberty or death be hollow cries of a bygone era. No, no. Keep to the premise of 76. Mr. Harper appreciates the United States, as do I. My parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents all fought for the United States, lived in the United States, and worked for it. But the premise of 76 was not that all nations would be united under some great empire, but no, that there would be republics dotting this globe. Let this Lone Star of the West be another republic. Let this be another dot of liberty shining into the future for ourselves and our posterity. Vote for Texas independency. Keep us a free, sovereign nation. Thank you, my countrymen.
Thank you, gentlemen. As I said, no easy task before you. What should we do, my neighbors? Do we go on as a free and independent republic, independent of the threats that face us, and continue to make ourselves the Lone Star Republic, that dot of liberty? Or do we look to our friends, our brothers in the United States? Do we take the hand that is reaching out to us in our time of trial? Do we take it and join ourselves to the United States of America? All those that...
Sir, 4 times they refused us at the altar of statehood. Why now are they interested in our land, sir?
This is not an open forum, sir. Take your seat. You may cast your vote. All of those in favor of remaining the independent Republic of Texas, make it known by raising your hand. All of those who would join the United States of America, make it known by raising your hand. Thank you for casting your votes. We will let you know when the tallies have all come in across this state what the end result will be. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. God bless Texas. God bless the United States of America.